His Excellency, the Vice President, Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, Your Excellencies, our dear former presidents, Your Excellencies, visiting heads of states and heads of delegations, our honorable members of parliament, members of the diplomatic corps, Nananum traditional rulers of our great nation Ghana, distinguished guests from near and far, my fellow countrywomen and men, my family and friends, I wish you a very good morning. It has been said that what is past is prologue, a mere introduction of all that is yet to come. If this is the case, then Ghana is in store for a wealth of achievement. Ghana's past is filled with one example after the other of courage, sacrifice, and perseverance. Ghana's past is defined by heroic men and women, pioneers, visionaries, and patriots. Indeed, we as a country have inherited a powerful legacy, and we are beneficiaries of a mighty history. The names of our forefathers and mothers are firmly etched in the world's memory. People like Yasantua, Nagbewa, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, J.B. Dankwa, Efua Sutherland, Dr. James Kwejiri Agre, Dr. Esther Efua Oklu, and Dr. Ephraim Amu. These are but a few names of people who were fearless enough to fulfill their dreams or to fight for the liberation of their people or to envision change and then manifest it. We rightfully memorialize the names of the many individuals whose singular contributions have elevated the profile of this nation and enriched the lives of our citizens. We respectfully extol their virtues and hold them in high esteem. In fact, we hold them in such high esteem that we often overlook the reality that these heroes, these men and women, were just as human as you and I. The majority of individuals who have had the greatest impact on this country came from very humble beginnings. They were not so different from most Ghanaians, like those of us assembled here, or those going about the events of their daily lives in their homes, in churches, in mosques, and offices across our country. These heroes were ordinary people who lived their lives to the fullest, made use of their God-given talents, and took pride in their daily activities. That was the simple call they answered. The call that placed them in extraordinary circumstances, events, and experiences that led them to indelibly change the face and the very fabric of our nation. Mention the name Tete Kwashi, for instance, and you will learn the story of an ordinary man, a blacksmith, the son of a farmer from Teshi. In 1870, Tete Kwashi traveled to Fernando Po, an island that is currently part of the modern Republic of Equatorial Guinea. At the end of that fateful trip, Tete Kwashi returned home with several cocoa beans. He planted these seeds on his land in Mampong Ekwapim to see if they would grow. So well suited was this crop to the soil and climate of the country that it grew abundantly. From that point, it took less than 12 years for the country to start exporting cocoa. Now, over 100 years later, Ghana is the world's second largest exporter of cocoa, and cocoa is still Ghana's leading export earner. This is the effect that the life of one ordinary citizen can have on an entire nation. Complacency and frustration can entice us into believing that we are insignificant players stuck somehow in the background of a bigger picture, or that as individuals we are incapable of making a difference. But history itself has proven that nothing could be further than the truth. We all, each and every one of us, has a role to play in the growth and development of our beloved mother, Ghana. In our hands, yours as well as mine, rests the success or failure of Ghana's future. There is no denying the fact that in the past 55 years, Ghana has made tremendous progress. But there is also no denying the fact that even at 55 years, Ghana is still a young country. And every young country goes through its share of instability and difficulty as it struggles to find the direction towards eminence. Over the course of the last 4 years, a tremendous amount of work has been done. Nevertheless, there is a tremendous amount of work that still needs to be done. More jobs must be created. More roads must be built. Bridges, schools, and hospitals must be built. The infrastructure that we have already expanded must be strengthened and made better able to withstand increased usage. Equipment should not be the only thing that is state of the art in our institutions. Systems, procedures, and staff must be brought up to standard. Best practices must be implemented. We need to look beyond temporary fixes to find lasting solutions for the complications we've experienced with power, water, and sanitation. We must continue to invest in our agricultural sector and grow our economy so that it lifts the bulk of our most crippling financial burdens, especially amongst the poorest of our population. A country's most valuable resource is its human resource. And that is why it is imperative that our citizens have access to good health care. These issues and concerns are all works in progress. They are realistic goals that have been set and that are within our capabilities to be met and in a timely fashion. I have just taken an oath that as president of this nation, I will work hard to place us on the right path, and I'll lead us over the hurdles and pass the obstacles that might threaten to keep us from meeting our goals. The promises that I have made are promises that I intend to keep. But my fellow citizens, change does not happen overnight. And sometimes, despite whatever progress we make, it will appear to be darkest before the dawn of a new day makes that progress visible. In such times, I will be counting on you to maintain the faith and the trust that you have placed in me as president, and I promise I will not let you down. Fellow countrywomen and men, of course, every society has its fair share of people who would rather talk and complain about what is wrong than devote their time and efforts to do what it takes to make things right. At every opportunity, they will tell us all the things we cannot achieve and all the reasons why we should not even attempt to achieve them. The choice is ours, to believe or not to believe. We can look within ourselves and choose to see the lie of our powerlessness, or we can see the unlimited horizon of our own potential. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is on the cusp of enormous transformation. We are moving forward at a rapid pace. New resources are at our disposal. New alliances are being formed. The opportunities formed by these gains could result in a self-sufficiency that was always imagined and desired, but was never a realistic occurrence in our foreseeable future, not in the way it is right now. It is true that other countries have met adversity while trying to make the most of such prospects as we have before us. But those countries are not Ghana. They do not have the benefit of our history or the example of our heroes. We have been the first before. We have been the success story. We have blazed the trail before for others to follow, and we can do so once again. Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." I believe that with God and in Ghana, all things are possible. I believe this because I have seen the work and accomplishments of my predecessors. President Jerry John Rawlings, President John Ajekum Kufuor, and of course, our dear late President John Evans Atta Mills. We were all witnesses to the way they were able to make what others said was impossible, and to not only turn that into something that was probable, but to realize their visions and get it done. To them, I say, Ayiko. Our former presidents, I am ever grateful to have the advantage of your wisdom and the important lessons of your leadership. I would also like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to the transition team led by my very capable Vice President, Kwesi Bekwin Emisayata, for their time, their service, and their tireless efforts. More than anything, I would like to acknowledge them for their high morale and fair-mindedness, for their drive and determination to place the good of the nation above all else. Fellow countrymen and women, there is a torch that is passed from one era of Ghanaians to the next. It is fragile and as irreplaceable as any family treasure. My fellow citizens, that torch is now in our possession. That torch is the tradition of optimism and hope that we must carry on. It is the responsibility that we have to take charge of our lives, and in so doing to determine the course of Ghana's future. We are now the keepers of this flame. It is only by doing our best that we can make Ghana its best. We must all do our part every single day, whether it is by reducing the amount of plastic waste that is in our environment, whether it is by driving responsibly and courteously to ensure that our roads are safe, or even whether it is by just sharing kindness with a stranger or someone less fortunate than ourselves. Your actions do matter. You can make a difference in our country. As president, I will take to heart these words that I have just extended to you. I will do my best. I will give off my best. And I will ensure that my actions make a positive difference in the lives of Ghanaians. I will work to ensure that our society is less polarized and less weighted down by the pressures of our political differences. I will work to ensure that Ghana is a place where all our citizens, regardless of their religious faith, their ethnicity, or their political affiliation, will have the opportunities available to them to reach their full potential. Ghana should and will be a place where economic opportunities are available to everyone. I recognize the vital role that our private sector, especially small and indigenous business, play in the expansion of our workforce as well as in the growth and stability of our economy. I want to assure the Ghanaian business community that I will be your ally. I will extend whatever support I am able to marshal to reinforce your contribution to Ghana's development. This is our country. This is our moment. This is Ghana's time. Ghana's time, once again, for greatness. May God bless us all, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. I thank you.
Speech from President